Don, first question, and it is a bit of what we are talking about. We're going to talk about networking and the importance and how to nurture your network. But I know that you have a big passion for inclusion and diversity, and that's a huge part of your work. So I would love to start the interview just expanding. Why did you decide to go into this field?
That's a really good question. I worked as a nurse for 35 years. I am a nurse. I still am a registered nurse in children and in adults. And in my career, I noticed that, the amount of patients, clients that use the NHS are from very diverse backgrounds. I myself am of Jamaican heritage, but I was born in England and I've lived here all of my life. And I know that people who use the National Health Service in England, people who work in the National Health Service in England come from a variety of places and heritages.
Yeah.
And, designing services, which is one of the jobs I did in the NHS, you don't necessarily, people in NHS don't necessarily design them for the people that are going to use them. And so, people like an Italian man would have a different need to a West Indian woman. And there's great diversity in that. So, I really believe passionately that everyone comes to work to do a good job. Everyone has this sense of meaning. Everyone has different health beliefs and what they believe to be true about their health, and people need to be helped. So my interest in diversity was primarily around helping people who look like me to progress in the National Health Service, because sometimes they find that difficult.
Yeah.
And that translates to, how do people use services? So the work I do as a management consultant now in my business is working with organisations around how they can engage their workforces, but also to serve their customers and their clients as well as they can, and from totally diverse viewpoints, and engaging with those people about what they actually want, and that benefits the business.
It is really interesting, because we're going to talk about network and nurturing your network. How is the awareness of diversity and inclusion, and having that awareness and having that background also helpful on the business setting of nurturing and expanding your network?
So from a business point of view, there's research about this. If you have a diverse network of connections and contacts and can appeal to a diverse clientele, you will get more business. You will have a happier workforce. You will earn more. You'll have less complaints, and you increase your appeal. And I think it's like in business, you have your ideal client, and sometimes I struggle with that, because an ideal client might be a white Italian man who plays basketball for you, Simone. I'm not saying it is, but that means you're limiting yourself, because there's loads of people who could be helped by you or anybody else. But it's around, because people have this need for belonging, they have this need, but it appeals in different ways. So I'm a technophobe, and so what I need is someone to help to understand the technology that will help me in my business. But some technical people are very sort of focused on gadgets and not about helping people. So what I'm saying is, if you are a person who helps people with technology, some of your best customers might be somebody like me, who's a technophobe, who just needs to know how to use it and to be guided in that way, in a nice way that they'll be responsive to. And that's what I mean about diversity. You wouldn't, I'm not an old age pensioner, but you wouldn't treat an old age pensioner the same as you would as a 17-year-old, but they both might want your service.
That's a great point, because every person you're interacting with within your network, having the awareness of, how do they see the world, their background, their heritage. And of course, the more people you meet, and I think that's also like going back to a big passion of mine, which is traveling and interacting with different cultures, helps you understand some of the nuances in which you can relate to one person compared to another, how to understand them better. So from your perspective, if someone wanted to start Let's say I want to understand, like, I don't know the kind of person who is in front of me. How can you, what will be the starting point to be more inclusive while building your network or nurturing your network?
I think it's asking questions, and I really like the expression you use, how they see the world. I start off with what you have in common. So, you know, you might have in common that you're in the same group, that you work in the same place, and then explore what are the differences, and the differences that in the way you see the world. How do you experience the world is something that I'm quite interested in. So I like football. I might be unusual in that, but my experience of football is different to another person, even another woman. It's different, you know. The team I support, which is Arsenal, by the way, but you know that my experience with them.
Okay, so we will need to interrupt the interview right now. I've been told, just because you don't support Chelsea. So
see. So that's a different experience, isn't it, around that? But that's something we've got in common. We both like football, and that's something that we can talk about. And when I'm networking, if you know, that's what I try to find, the commonalities, but also the differences. So that would be a conversation starter around that. And then when you start that conversation, then you find out all sorts of different things about the person that you're talking to or engaging with, you know, what business they're interested in, what they, how they feel about family, you know, all that sort of thing. And you're not doing it to sort of be intrusive. You're just doing it out of interest, and it's like, and that they can find out something about you. And my feeling around it in the business world and in careers, this works too, and even with your family or your friends, is that if you are genuinely interested in somebody and want to find something out about them, it's always really useful. It's always really a learning experience, and they can also learn about you. And what happens is that you can have that conversation. We could have conversations about football, and you know, I may never see you again, or you know, or I might. You know, I might connect with you on LinkedIn. I might, you know, when I see you around, I think, oh yeah, I spoke to Simone. Yeah, he was like a Chelsea supporter. I didn't like that, but you know, we did like football together. And then, you know, if I see that you're offering a program, I think, oh yeah, I really like that guy, Simone. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. And that's how it works, is that people remember the interaction, they remember, and then when you're out and about, they'll think of you, and they'll think about what you said, about whatever you talked about, and how it relates to them, and how either you can help them or they can help you.
I'm curious now because, well, first of all, it is fascinating how actually as human being, I remember, you know, I don't remember the people that I've exchanged a business card with at a networking event, or met in an online Zoom room, and you know, everyone is posting their LinkedIn profile like crazy. I'm like, okay, but I don't remember them, but I remember someone that I had a good conversation with. And I remember
Absolutely.
being into an online networking event, which in one way is even more difficult to remember people online compared to a multi-sensorial experience that we might have at a networking event, but in live. And I think, and I remember we started talking because she's living in Portugal, and we were talking about how was life in Portugal, and that actually, that's what I remember about that conversation, which is the thing about Colin, because I went to Portugal and we started talking about where she was and where I went, and that created that particular connection. So
absolutely, and I think that's what, you know. So, you know, people can put their, "Oh, connect with me on LinkedIn," but as you said, why would they remember you if you've not had a conversation, had some commonality, and had some reaction? It's very easy to connect with people, but it's easier if they remember, oh, we met at this, or I saw you speak at an event and I was really interested in what you said about da da da. You know, it doesn't matter, but I know when people connect with me, I am more likely to connect with them if they bring up an association that they have had with me, or they know somebody that I know, or we have some common interests around that. It's not that I won't, but I'd be more likely to connect and engage with that person if we've been to the same places and known the same things or had a conversation. And it's that association, as you said, you know. So, you know, I know lots about you, Simone, but, you know, I know you like football, I know you like basketball. And, you know, if I then said to you, oh, yeah, how's Chelsea doing? You would remember that we'd had a
I
conversation.
remember that.
Football, yeah. So you'd remember that, and you think, oh yeah, and that is not saying, oh, buy my thing, or meet with me, or what can you do for me? It's just that we had a conversation, and it was a nice conversation about something we're both mutually interested in, and then
100%.
the other stuff can follow.